Here's a little video showing how we set up some COVID-19 stuff in your practice. Now, you don't have to use this if you don't want to, and it may work a little bit differently depending upon whether you have e-services or not. But it's there if you want it, and you can use it certainly without e-services. So what we did is set up a new sheet in there, which is the ADA COVID-19 patient survey that they recommend all patients fill out before they come into the office. So what we're trying to do is get that survey out there to patients in the easiest way possible. First of all, we have an email template set up here, which is just labeled COVID-19. So if you click on that and go to Insert, it creates the email, and then you can send that out. It's got the patient's appointment in there and so forth in the office. So when you click on the patient survey here, it takes you to the patient form. This is just like any other web form. It's already set up. It already works in Open Dental. There's no extra charge for this. This is not part of e-services. This is just a standard web form included with your Open Dental support. So now Donald can go through here and fill these guys out, and he can go down here to sign it, okay, and say okay, and then he can go to submit it. So this is going to go back. Oh, whoops. I left out the fact that Donald has to put his first name, last name. I did that on purpose to show you this. First name, last name, and birth date in here in order to submit the form. Now we can submit the form. Okay, so there it was submitted successfully. Now, where did that go? That went to the Open Dental website. We go back in here, and we can close this because we don't really want to send it. It went to the Open Dental website, and now you can retrieve it from there just like any other web form, medical history, patient registration, whatever. And we go to Tools, and then we go down to Web Forms, and we'll go to Retrieve New Forms. And there it is right there. And it figured out that this really is Donald Duck. Sometimes you have to match it up. Give it a little bit of help. If you put in Don Duck, it might not know who he was, or if the birthday was different, and sometimes it is, then you have to match it up with Donald Duck. But now this found it all by itself, so we can close that. We've pulled that in from the Open Dental website into our Open Dental, and also into that patient's account. So if I'm in Donald Duck's account right here, and I go to Forms, that form is right there. Okay, that's the one I just did. So now we can open it and look at it and see, yeah, Donald didn't fill it out completely, but it's signed and so forth. So that's fine. It also not only is there automatically, but if we look in Donald's chart, it's also in his chart right down here at the bottom, all automatically. Okay, so that's sending out the email. You can also send out a text. And one thing with, now this is part of e-services, if you right mouse click, you can go down here and text all the appointments for that day. You can do this on any day. It doesn't have to be for today, it can be for any day. You just right mouse click and go to text for the day. And it says, uh-oh, here's somebody that did not have a cell phone set up in there, so I can't text them. So you might make a note of that so we can send that person an email. But everybody else has text information in there. So where's my message? What am I going to put in there? I'm going to, and this is all set up for you, I'm going to type question mark and then the letter C as in COVID. Okay, and it puts all that stuff in there, including the link to that web form, and has the practice name up at the top. So now you can send this out to everybody. I won't send this one, but everybody that's coming in that day. Okay, in one fell swoop for any day that you want. You can also do a particular operatory if you want to, but generally you want to do the whole day. Okay, you can send a single text. Now, this is not specific to e-services. however you're sending your text, that link will work. Okay, the link to that web form will be active. That's kind of a generic web form for your practice to use. I can do the same thing here just for Donald Duck. I can type question mark and see it puts that in there. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and send it. Okay, now you're texting some other way, that's fine. You can probably copy and paste that message and that should work just fine. So here's my cell phone. I texted that to myself. So if I go and get that text message, there's the link down there in blue. When the patient selects that, here's the form. It's the same form, a little bit different format. And so again, Donald has to put in first name, last name, and check off yes or no and all these things. And then he can submit the form the same way we did the previous form. And when it gets back to the office, it looks just like the previous form. It's equivalent. But this is the mobile version of that form. And Open Dental knows when it sends it out, if it's opened on a computer, it will open that first version. If it's opened on a mobile device, it opens this version. So that's all automatic, all set up for you. And again, that's part of basic Open Dental. That's not part of e-services. So what we're attempting to do is make it really easy to send that ADA survey out to patients. Again, with e-services, you can text to everybody that's coming in that day. Otherwise, you can send the email, which works just fine without e-services, just by using that COVID-19 insert and send that out to the patients, and they'll have their appointment in there also. Or you can use the quick note that I put in there in case you want to send it to some other text service. I just want a copy. You can go to setup, and down here it's under quick paste notes. It's under everywhere and it's right there. And so you can just copy this thing and again and use some other texting service if you like. Okay, it's got the right link in there and it's got the practice name. Lastly, how are we going to keep track of who has sent their forms back and who has not? What we suggest you do is to go into the appointment. So we'll pretend here that Dewey sent his form back and it's in his chart. And we want to note that on the schedule where everybody can see it. So what we suggest is you double click on the appointment. You go right here where it says appointment color. It says none. We want to put a color in there. And we recommend a bright green. You can obviously put any color that you want in there and say OK. And it turns the appointment block green, but you still got the provider color over here. So now we can see that Dewey sent his back, but the other people have not. So you can kind of keep track of that. Now, if somebody hasn't sent it back, maybe you want to send them a text again or whatever. But ideally, by the end of today, if this is tomorrow's schedule, by the end of today, you've got everybody bright green in there. Okay, hopefully that's helpful for you. Let us know if you have any questions or problems.